The Brimstone 2025 has arrived, and it's already stirring serious buzz in the automotive world. For those who've been tracking concept teasers and development leaks, the production model doesn't disappoint. It's aggressive, smartly engineered, and packs a punch that's going to challenge the status quo across several segments. So, let's dive into everything you need to know about the 2025 Brimstone: performance, design, tech, and whether it's worth the hype. First, let's talk about what's under the hood, because that's where the Brimstone really starts to separate itself. The 2025 model comes in two key configurations: the turbocharged inline-4 and the high-performance V6 twin-turbo. The base variant puts out a very healthy 310 horsepower with 295 pound-feet of torque, while the V6 ramps it up to 470 horsepower and 420 pound-feet, giving it some serious credibility in the performance car arena. What's surprising is that both variants come with standard all-wheel drive, not just for traction but also for handling precision. The car's low center of gravity and weight distribution feel dialed in for cornering aggression, which really shows on the road and track. Brimstone's engineering team clearly took feedback from enthusiasts seriously. The suspension setup is adaptive, with three primary modes: comfort, sport, and track. In comfort, it soaks up rough pavement with ease, but switch over to sport and the chassis tightens up noticeably. Track mode brings stiffer dampers and a more aggressive throttle map. The electronic steering is sharp without being twitchy, and the car remains stable even when pushed. 0 to 60, the V6 variant hits it in around 3.9 seconds, and that's without any launch control gimmicks. For the price range it's aiming at, those numbers are extremely competitive. Now, let's shift to design, because this car is making bold moves. The 2025 Brimstone looks nothing like its previous iterations. It's wider, lower, and more muscular. The front grille is angular and aggressive without going overboard, flanked by slim LED matrix headlights that give it a modern yet sinister expression. Air vents are functional, not decorative, contributing to cooling and aerodynamic flow. Along the sides, you get sculpted panels that cut through the visual bulk and a strong shoulder line that runs from the hood to the taillights. Speaking of taillights, they span the rear in a full-width light bar that lights up in a dramatic sequence when you unlock or start the car. Interior-wise, the Brimstone is entering premium territory, especially for the higher trims. Soft-touch materials dominate the cabin, mixed with aluminum accents and optional carbon fiber inserts. The seats' standard sport buckets are well bolstered and supportive without being restrictive, and you can upgrade to ventilated recreas with memory settings. Rear seats aren't just for show, either. There's legit room for adults, especially after the wheelbase extension in this model year. Cargo space, it's decent for the segment, easily handling 2 large suitcases or weekends worth of gear. Tech in the Brimstone is where things get futuristic. The centerpiece is a 14.2-inch curved infotainment screen that merges into the digital gauge cluster. It's powered by Brimstone's new X 5.0 system, which is intuitive, fast, and actually responsive to voice commands without lag. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless by default, and you've got a full 5G modem built in for software updates and app integration. There's even a heads-up display with augmented navigation that overlays directional arrows onto the road in real time. One underrated feature: the active driver assist system. It's not just lane keeping and adaptive cruise. The Brimstone can handle full-stop traffic jams and re-enter lanes with precision. It doesn't replace the driver, but it does lighten the mental load, especially during long commutes. And let's not forget the 360-degree camera with auto-cleaning lenses as a small but super practical touch, especially in bad weather. Fuel economy depends on which powertrain you pick. The base Turbo 4 gets an EPA-rated 29 miles per gallon combined, while the twin-turbo V6 comes in around 23 miles per gallon. Not groundbreaking, but reasonable given the performance capabilities. However, Brimstone's engineers have promised a plug-in hybrid variant coming mid-2025, which could shake things up with electric-only commuting range and even more torque. So, Who is this car for? That's the big question. Brimstone clearly isn't chasing just one demographic. It's priced competitively to attract both performance enthusiasts and tech-forward drivers who want a stylish, everyday car with serious bite. Starting around $42,000 for the base model and climbing up to $59,000 fully loaded. It sits right in the gaps between mainstream sedans and entry-level luxury sport models. And honestly, with what you're getting, especially in terms of performance-to-dollar ratio, it's hard to ignore. Another cool feature worth mentioning is the customizable drive profiles. You can tailor throttle response, suspension stiffness, steering feel, and even the exhaust note to your preference. Want to go stealth mode at night? Dial down the exhaust and turn off the active lighting sequences. Want to show off at cars and coffee? Go full throttle, max exhaust, and bright track lighting on startup. Build quality feels solid throughout. Doors close with the reassuring thud, panel gaps are tight, and materials don't feel like afterthoughts. The noise, vibration, and harshness has been minimized impressively. Even in the sportiest trim, the engineers managed to strike a solid balance between isolation and driver engagement, which isn't easy. There are, of course, a few minor drawbacks. The infotainment, while visually stunning, does take a few extra tapes for basic climate controls unless you configure shortcuts. Some might prefer physical buttons. Also, if you're really pushing it on the track, the brakes can start to fade after about 15-20 minutes of aggressive use. It's nothing some upgraded pads won't fix, but worth noting for serious track users. To sum it up, the 2025 Brimstone is a serious contender in a crowded market. It's not just another sporty-looking sedan, it's a well-rounded, performance-first machine that happens to be livable and tech-savvy. Whether you're looking for your next daily driver or something fun for the weekends, it's a car that's easy to justify. Smart design, real-world usability, and performance that lives up to the numbers. It's not perfect, but it's easily one of the most exciting releases of 2025.